Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal, and we are back after an absolute thrashing. That was exactly my fear. That was definitely one of my fears, getting trashed. You know, if it was 2-1 or something, that would have been okay, but getting trashed, obviously, that was definitely going to be a concern and definitely a worry. But seeing today, we already knew how good City were, and if you combine that with a couple of bad Arsenal performances, then you're going to get absolutely trashed. And yeah, we had no chance in that game. Like literally from the first minute, we had no chance. We literally almost got a penalty within 1.5 minutes or something like that. And throughout the game, the quality just told. And couple that there were mistakes and a couple of players not turning up, not even one or two players, like 5 or 6 players not turning up. I think most of them actually stage fright and everything. It's a problem when obviously Odegaard doesn't turn up for the crucial games, the last 2-3 games, Partey as well. Obviously, Gabriel again today, oh my goodness, like dominated. Holding, I mean, he wasn't the worst. I think Gabriel was actually kind of worse than him, but we knew, like holding up against Haaland, we knew there was no chance in terms of that. And you saw their qualities. Like if they took their chances, if we didn't have Ramsdale, that could have been 8 or 9 goals for them. So that's the only positive. We didn't concede 7 or 8 goals. But apart from that, we can't complain about anything today. Like I've seen people saying the second goal was offside, blah blah blah. I don't think that matters anymore. Even if it was disallowed, they were absolutely dominating us from start to finish. There was no time where we had like a good 20-minute spell or anything. Nothing. Like from start to finish, they were way better than us. And obviously now it seems impossible. Now it seems impossible to win the league title. A lot of things have to go your way. You know, right now they're we're still ahead of them, but they still have 2 games in hand. And on top of that, they have easier fixtures than ours. And on top of that, their goal difference is 13 more goals than us. So that is a problem. If you are ahead by something, maybe points, or they didn't have games in hand, or we were ahead at least by goal difference or something, then you still have a bit of positivity. But in terms of that, like, did you see how they played today? Like, we need them to be stopped by other teams like Fulham. Like if we couldn't do it ourselves, like what are the chances that Fulham and those teams do it? I mean, Premier League is Premier League, anything can happen, but the way I've seen them playing today, the way De Bruyne, oh my goodness, dominated by him, the way De Bruyne and Haaland can play against you, like what are the chances like them getting stopped by a Fulham or by those teams they're going to play against? Like even in the Champions League, I'm expecting them to beat Real Madrid. Like that is how good they are. And that's why we start talking about the West Ham and Southampton games, especially those 2. If you win those games, it's 6 points or 8 points ahead of something. And even if City beat you, you're still ahead of them. Now, the problem with this, we put a lot of pressure on us. We had to go to City and win, not even draw. win. It's so difficult to go to City and even draw. So getting a win is close to impossible. And when you ask for a win against Manchester City, as I said earlier, you have to be perfect 100%. You have to take whichever chance that comes your way. We didn't create a lot of chances today. We got a goal yesterday at the end, but that was basically it. They have to miss a lot of chances and they have to be completely on an off day. Like to beat City at their place, it usually happens like once or twice a season. Brentford beat them there this season. I think Leeds beat them there a couple of seasons ago. They have to be completely off, like everyone has to be off, because even if Haaland does not perform, De Bruyne can turn up. Like that was a Man City team that had Mahrez on the bench, Foden on the bench, so we had no chances. The truth is, the score depth between us and them is totally difficult. Like as Tomiyasu and Saliba go out, we don't have anyone to bring in them. Even if Ake goes out, they just bring in Akanji. Even if De Bruyne goes out, they'll have Gundogan there. If Mahrez is not there, Foden is there. So in terms of that, they're way better than us. They're way better than everyone else in the Premier League. That is what we usually do to other teams. We usually dominate games like that. Today, we're the ones who are being dominated like that. And obviously, it wasn't just a case of Man City being good, obviously. They're very good that they beat everyone there. They scored 6 against United. They scored 4 against Liverpool, all that. But also on top of that, we still gave them like 2 goals or something. So that is a problem with Arsenal these days. We usually have to give people goals. And we did the same today. Odegaard did that goal. Partey, I think some other goal of Gabriel, too easy. And that is always my fear whenever we go to Man City away and Liverpool away. Usually someone said, when I did the earlier preview, someone said you cannot be a coward. You have to give the teams a respect. It's not about being a coward or not. You have to give them respect. And for me, if I was the manager, whenever I'm playing Liverpool away or Man City away, I'd literally either add another midfielder there or add another defender, because you have to give them respect. Did you see how open we are in midfield? Because Odegaard would push forward to try and create chances. Jacques is on the left side, trying to also cover for Zinchenko whenever he comes into midfield. Zinchenko is trying to get a through ball and everything, and Partey is left by himself, and De Bruyne can drift to the left side. It becomes a problem. Like De Bruyne he could have had like 4 goals and 4 assists in that game. So you have to get like 2 people to man marking him in midfield to get anything against them. You have to keep him quiet. You have to keep Haaland quiet. Today, Haaland was not even the best Haaland. He still scored and got 2 assists. He did not even turn up. And it's like he was so annoying when he opened up his hand and then scored after that. So to mark De Bruyne, you need either an extra midfielder there or an extra defender, someone to help you play against Haaland and De Bruyne. And we didn't go with that. We went brave. We went to our usual 4-3-3, and we are absolutely dominated. I was very surprised that Arteta did not change at halftime. Because with that midfield of Xhaka, Odegaard, and Partey, it clearly wasn't working. It has worked all season, but against Man City away from home, and they have De Bruyne, Rodri, Stones coming into midfield, and they also have Gundogan as well, Haaland coming into midfield, and then the dangers of Grealish and Bernardo Silva on the wings. You have to change something. And this formation, unless you have a lot of quality, unless you have Saliba there and you have a quicker midfield and a more powerful midfielder like an Onana from Everton or something, it's going to be very difficult to use the same tactics to beat Man City. That is what I was very worried about. I was like, are we going to really beat City with the same tactics that we've used all season, with Zinchenko coming into midfield? Because they're not Fulham, they're not Nottingham Forest. Like, those are not the teams we've been playing. This is a different team. I watched them against Bayern Munich and I got even more scared because of how they absolutely trashed Bayern Munich. So a lot of things went wrong today, and against Man City, cannot even afford one thing to go wrong. Everything went wrong today. They have our number. That is a massive concern. They definitely have our number. I never usually expect us to beat Man City for some reason, and we never actually beat them. We never even come close to beating them. Maybe a couple of times at home, but at the Etihad, we never come anywhere close to beating them. De Bruyne has now scored 8 goals against us. That is the most he's scored against anyone. And they've added Haaland this season, like absolutely dominated us totally from start to finish. I never expect us to beat them, and you can see why. It's not about being a coward. It's about giving them respect. It's about giving them respect. When I say I want to back 5 against a team like Man City, you have to see why. Because I don't think holding up against Haaland is enough. Even Gabriel against Haaland, I don't think it's enough. You have to give them respect. That is someone who scored 50 goals this season. And as I said, a lot of things went missing as well. Saka and Martinelli, they have our number in terms of that. Like I saw Martinelli getting the ball on the wing like 3 times. The first time he got the ball like this, and Bernardo Silva was there, and Walker was there. 2 people on him right away. Then we have to pass into midfield. We pass into midfield. We go to the other side with Saka. Akanji is there. Grealish is there marking him as well. Grealish is showing the fight. He's fighting everyone. Rodri is there. Then you come back to the next side. Martinelli with the ball again. There's 2-3 players. And the moment you mark out Martinelli and Saka out of the game, and then we also have Zinchenko marked out of the game, and also Odegaard is not at the top of his game, then we have a problem. In terms of that, they definitely have our number. I don't think there's any other team that usually keeps Saka and Martinelli that quiet. The only other time I've seen it happening this season is when obviously we played Newcastle and Trippier did the job on Martinelli. That's the only time I've seen us being dominated in terms of our wingers. Today, they did the same thing. And you cannot press them, because if you press Manchester City, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. We saw it today. If you press them, one long ball on top, Holding cannot deal with Haaland, you're in big trouble. I absolutely have to acknowledge the way they play. Not just, they have quality players, yes, they have a quality manager, but they're absolutely well drilled. Like everything, like they know when to go to Martinez, they know when to go to Saka. Every time we get the ball, they were pressing us to death. We had no chance of putting together 2 or 3 passes at all that entire game. The moment we did, they got the ball and were counter-attacking us right away. We could not press them. They were pressing us to death. They were marking out our wingers. They were pressing us into mistakes. Like whenever you see Odegaard is making mistakes, Partey is making mistakes, the players that usually don't make a lot of mistakes usually throughout the season, you know, things are going wrong. And even in terms of set pieces, the way they arranged, they scored a free kick against us today. And stage fright got to us. They were way better than us. We could not handle them. Ramsdale is probably the only player who turned up, and on the bench, maybe Nelson coming on, I think he did okay, and Trossard coming on, he did okay. But that is, I know Trossard deserves to start, but not in place of Xhaka. If you play Trossard and Martinelli, Saka, and Jesus, you leave your midfield even more wide open. You could have considered 8 or 9 goals there, but we have to find a way to get Trossard into the team. But yeah, we are still giving them way too much opportunity, way too much space. You know, you cannot go to Man City and say we're going to go toe-to-toe with you. You're going to score 4 goals and you're going to score 4 goals. That is very dangerous. I usually don't agree with that tactic, whether it's Liverpool away or Man City away. Usually, if you do that tactic, you're going to get trashed. And we went to the same lineup we've been using the whole season. Yes, you have to trust your players. You have to trust all that. You have to trust the system we've been working on the whole season, but you have to give Man City the respect. Either you throw in Jorginho in midfield, whether some of you would say slow anything, just throw an extra body in midfield just to cut out De Bruyne or anyone, or add another defender. If you go the same tactics with Holding there and Holding player that you don't trust, like Rob Holding, you don't trust. Not many people trust him. He is not the worst player today, but I feel like also having Holding there, I don't think Gabriel is as confident as when he's next to Tomiyasu or next to Saliba as well. Like it becomes a mess. Like you could see Gabriel and Holding communication. Both of them were going to Haaland at the same time, or both of them were staying back, and then Haaland was remaining by himself in midfield, getting the ball. De Bruyne was open like 4 or 5 times. Like seriously, if it wasn't for Ramsdale, we could have considered 6 goals in that first half. They were cutting through our midfield too easily. And the worry is, it's not just today. Like De Bruyne has done that to us like 8-9 games in a row. Like he's always open in midfield. I remember when they beat us, I think Emery's first game at Arsenal, when they beat us like 2-0 or something at home, De Bruyne had a lot of space that day against Guendouzi. I remember that game very well. Last season when we went to their place and they beat us by 5 goals, same. You have to give them respect. You cannot go the same formation when you're playing against Man City. You have to give them respect. And we are lucky that we don't play Man City every single time, because if they played us again tomorrow, it would have been the same. If we played them next week, it could have been the same, unless you have everyone fit and you're going to change the formation and you're going to have the perfect day. You are never going to beat them. And that is why the West Ham game and the Southampton games were very important for us to win, so that we come to Man City and hope for a draw. But the moment our mindset turned into we have to go to Man City and try and win and try and go head-to-head with them, that becomes a problem. You're going to leave spaces. You have to be compact when you go to Man City. You have to be compact. So if we had won against Southampton and West Ham, yes, ifs, buts, and maybes, wherever, if we had won there, against both of those teams, we could have come here knowing, you know what, our draw isn't too bad. Let's put in Jorginho there. Let's add Tierney there. Let's play a bit defensive until the second half. But the moment again, how many minutes did they take to score? 6 minutes. They scored against us within the first 6 minutes. That is a problem. Then you're going to open up more. You're going to be more, what is the word? There's a word I'm looking for. Not eager, desperate. Yeah, you're going to be more desperate in terms of getting a goal. You're going to try and get a goal, and you're going to leave more spaces, and they're going to dominate you everything. Like too bad, man. Like everything went wrong. Basically, I don't even know what to say, man. I'm so gutted. I'm absolutely gutted. Not even because of today's game, because of Southampton and West Ham. Now we have to hope Man City drop points elsewhere. We have 15 points to play for. We have to win all 5 games, not draw. We have to beat Chelsea. We have to beat Newcastle. We have to beat Brighton. You have to beat Wolves. You have to beat Nottingham Forest. And on top of that, even if City lose one game, it's not enough. Like, we literally have to hope City lose one game and draw one game. And the way I've seen them playing against us today, I start looking at the fixtures. I'm like, Fulham, I can see it. I can see them winning that game by 5-0. Brentford away, maybe, even if you give them a draw there, but they're going to play against Everton. You can't see anything there. They're going to play against Brighton. Even if they draw that, they can even draw those 2 games and they still win the title. So those Southampton and West Ham games are going to cost us once again, like they did last season. And it becomes very difficult. Obviously, you have to keep the hope there. You have to be like, yeah, you know what, maybe you never know. But yeah, it's 90% on them to win it and 10% on us. The favor, the odds are definitely not on our side. We need a lot of things to go away. You need to win all your games. You need to go to Newcastle and win. You need to beat Chelsea. You need to go to a tough Nottingham Forest and win, because they're fighting for against relegation. You have to go there and win. You're going to play against a tough Brighton team, and then you're going to hope that Man City drop points everywhere else. Like, it's very, very difficult. I can see them bleeping once. I can't see them winning every single game. I can see them drawing or losing somewhere, but the problem is the moment they draw or lose one game, they'll switch right back on and win 4 or 5 in a row. That is the problem. If we needed them to lose or draw one game, that would have been okay. But now that we need them to draw or lose 2 games or something like that, that becomes very difficult. It's very hard for City to lose 2 games in a row. And I have a bad feeling they're going to beat us by like 1 or 2 points at the end. Like, that is going to be very painful when you start thinking about, oh, Southampton, we dropped points twice. Brentford, they should never have had their goal. It's going to be a very, very painful affair. But that is what how title races go. We've not been in a title race for a long time. Like, the last real one was 2007, 2008. But from what Liverpool fans have told us over the last 4 years, that is how it is with City. You have to be perfect. And the only hope is that we bounce back next season. But this season is not over yet. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, I'm not as confident as I was when we were beating Aston Villa and those teams 1 month ago. Okay, thank you for the super chat. How are you doing, Glenn? I'm disappointed, but praying for a miracle. I believe it's not over yet. Yeah, we need like 2 or 3 miracles. One is not enough. We need we need Jesus to pop up like 2 or 3 times over the next 5 weeks. We need that. Cookie says, I think in hindsight, a backfired 3-5 was needed. We needed extra players in the box. That is what I said before the match. And someone said, Glenn, you are a coward. You cannot be a coward against no, it's not about being a coward. It's about giving them respect. If you're not careful against Man City, you saw what they've done to Bayern Munich this season, to Man United, to Liverpool, to Chelsea, all these teams. They've trashed all these teams. And on top of that, you saw what they did to us at our place, and you saw what they did to us in the FA Cup. Like, if you're not careful, they're going to beat you everywhere. They have the quality. Unless they have an off day, or De Bruyne is not there, or Haaland is not there. Like, they could have brought in Mahrez. I was even more scared of Mahrez. They could have brought in Ford, and they brought him in, and he assisted Haaland's goal. Like, it becomes a massive problem. And I thought you should have made a substitute at halftime. I don't know. We needed something. An extra midfielder or an extra defender, either Tierney there or even Jorginho. You cannot just say Jorginho is not quick enough to face Man City. No. You rather have him there because we didn't have anyone there. You rather have someone there, a body there, just even to commit fouls or something. Because if we don't have anything at all, it's going to be quite trouble. Saka, you were sleeping. Jesus Holding, they failed me. I didn't expect Holding to mark out Haaland at all. Players like Van Dijk have trouble marking out Haaland. So what's the chances Holding he's going to do it? The moment Saliba was confirmed out of this fixture, I was like, we need a back 5. We need Gabriel and Holding both to try and mark out Haaland, and then Tierney there, and then Zinchenko there, and then Ben White there. Ben White did put in a couple of good blocks. Holding himself blocked a couple of shots, but in terms of overall play, like, if we add another 90 minutes on top of that, it's going to be 8-2. Like, we never had a chance. It wasn't like, against we've done a lot this season. I'm not one of those fans who's going to say we've bottled it, it's terrible, Arsenal, Saka, Teta. I'm not one of those fans who are going to say that. If you say that, that's your opinion, but I think that's definitely a wrong opinion. I mean, we've gone to Liverpool. We've done very well. We scored 2 quick goals. We've gone to Tottenham, won that easily. We've gone to Man United, played really well before they beat us. We've gone to Chelsea, dominated the game, won the game. We've gone to Brighton, won the game. All those teams, but Man City is just so different, man. We use the same tactics used in those games, but again, something else. It doesn't matter what the tactics are, by the way, as long as you need to win your individual battles. It doesn't matter if you play a back 8 or you play a back 2 or you play 5 strikers. If you don't win your individual battles, it becomes a problem. And I don't think we won any individual battle today. I think Haaland 100% dominated holding. Jesus could not get the better of the centre backs. Partey today, a couple of mistakes. De Bruyne and Rodri got the better of them. Same with Odegaard. Xhaka, I did not see him a lot. Like Xhaka, you expect to see him in a game like this. We want him to fight. We want. The only time I saw fight from Xhaka was who did he fight? Like there's someone he was fighting. I don't even remember. Like that was the only time we saw fight, and Partey against Grealish. That was the only time we saw fight. Against Man City, you have to win your battles, every single battle. And whenever they win like 4 or 5 battles against you, it doesn't matter the formation. Even if you have a back 6 and you let De Bruyne roam around, it's going to be problems. Mary says, I agree with you. Everything went wrong with the Arsenal team. They had lackluster performance. And as I said, sometimes you might have one player doing badly. You know what? Actually, against Man City, no. Against I keep on saying Nottingham Forest. I'm not no disrespect to them. They actually drew with Man City this season. No disrespect to them. It's not. Let's use the Championship team. Let's not use the Premier League team. It's not like we're playing Blackburn. If you're playing Blackburn, Saka might not play well and Odegaard might not play well, but Martinelli will play well and Jesus will play well. You'll still win the game. Against, I don't know, Norwich, you'll do the same. A couple of players will not do well. A couple of players will do well. You're still going to win the game. We've seen it this season. There's a couple of games Saka has not done well, we still won. There's a couple of games Odegaard has not done well, we still won. There's a couple of games where Gabriel has made a mistake, but you still go on the other side and scored 2 or 3 goals. But against Man City, you cannot have one player not playing well. Now, the problem is if you have 5 or 6 players not playing well, now that is impossible. You're not going to even get a goal. Like I was even surprised we scored. It did not look like we were going to score. Like 4-1 or 3-0 was the correct score in that game. They're always going to beat us by 3 or something goals, 3 or more goals. So 3-1 would have been, you know what, we've gotten away with one there because it could have been like 6 or 7. Now, if you don't win all individual battles, one problem, but 7 or 8 individual battles you don't win, then that becomes a massive worry. Massive worry. Look, we done better than Tottenham, Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool. Now, again, Lee, thanks for always watching, by the way. That is something else that I don't usually bother the rival fans. I'm never, some of you take it seriously, like, oh my goodness, look at what Man United fans are going to say. I don't care what Man United fans say, or Liverpool fans, or Tottenham fans. We are 40 points or 50 points ahead of Chelsea. I don't care what they say. They've just lost today as well. It's all about us. Man City fans can banter us wherever. They can say, we told you guys you cannot beat us. Them, they can say that because they're better than us. The others, no. So let that not bother you. We are in the Champions League next season. That that was our goal. We're still 2 points. Like it's not over yet. An Arsenal fan for life. So we still can win the league. Lee, very positive. I appreciate that. Vincent says, I'm not happy if I failed to eat. You should have eaten before the game because now it's going to be very difficult to eat until tomorrow. Defensive holding is very poor. Why using him? We dropped points because of this man. I mean, Saliba got injured at the wrong time, Vincent. And on top of that, Tomiyasu got injured at the very wrong time. Just like last season, Tomiyasu and Partey got injured at the wrong time. You have to go to Man City and everyone has to play the best game they've ever played in their life. And we know that holding is not that quality. But on top of that as well, I'm not saying holding is why we lost the game. No, holding was not great. Gabriel was not great as well. I love Zinchenko. I prefer Zinchenko to Tierney. I still want Zinchenko to be our left back next season because of what he brings. I don't want people to quick. I've seen people saying Zinchenko has been terrible. Sell him. That is overreaction. He's been one of our best players this season, but I definitely agree that the last 3 or 4 games he's not been great. So today as well, not great. Who else? Partey, 3 or 4 games in a row, not great. Saka, 3 out of 5 games, not great. Martinelli, I'm going to excuse him from that. He's been probably our best player all season. Jesus today didn't see him as much as I wanted to see him. Wanted him to get involved in duels. Wanted to see him doing all that. And then Odegaard as well, the captain. didn't turn up again today and made a mistake for the third or fourth goal or something. So that becomes a problem. But the reason we have to play holding is because Saliba wasn't there. But personally, I would have gone for back five. I usually go into these games wherever you say scared, whatever. You have to do that. You have to go to those games scared, whatever you want to say, because if you don't do that, you're going to get trashed. Those guys trash people whenever they go there. Justin says, Justin with a long comment, you can't even see me on screen. Surely I'm a strong Arsenal diehard, but I remember commenting on the game against Liverpool that Arsenal can't win a league with that style of play. You can't be a champion if you can't contain and win a champion. And trust me, next season the best number for us will be number 3. We shall wait and prove. Anyway, credit to Arteta because you can't have such an average team and still have those points there. So Justin has said a couple of negative things and a couple of positive things. I don't agree in terms of you cannot win the league with that style of play. That style of play has gotten us top of the table, and we've won nearly before today. Remember, we had not lost a game before, like since February, and that was the last team to beat us, Man City. That style of play works. That has gotten us to this position. We usually press teams to death. We usually dominate all these other teams, home and away. This is the first time I've seen us dominating Tottenham away, Chelsea away, Liverpool away. This is the first time, first half Liverpool, not second half. This is the first time I've seen us doing all those against those teams. But whenever you play these different teams, you cannot use, why I can agree with you is you cannot use the same tactics against every single team. And that applies to Man City and Liverpool away, both of them. You cannot just go there and say, you know what, this is what has been working. You're going to have Zinchenko in midfield. You're going to have Saka playing forward. You're going to have Jesus waiting in the box. You cannot do that. You have to change the tactics for these teams. You just have to do it. So in terms of that, I agree, but not in terms of you cannot win the league with that formation or tactics or style of play. That style of play has gotten us to top of the table, but it might turn out not to be enough. Now, that is why you go to the transfer market or whatever, you look at what mistakes you made, you try and improve the squad even further, and you come back next season. Liverpool did that. Liverpool went toe-to-toe against Man City. I think it was 98 and 97 points. Liverpool did not win it. They came back the next season and they won it. So you have to try and do that. Yes, other teams can come back. Chelsea might come back. Liverpool might come back, but that should not be our concern. We should just keep on doing what we've been doing and try and improve on whatever errors we've been making this season. The trouble came from West Ham and Southampton. That was if we had beaten Southampton and West Ham and lose today, I don't think many people would have been like, you know what, it's over. Those are the games you're supposed to win. If you win the games you're supposed to win and Man City beat you twice, it might not matter. If you win every other game, let's see. I don't want too much hate. We have run out of gas and it hurts, but you have to accept you fought hard. You know what, Cookie? I think we're going to win our remaining 5 games, but I think it's going not to be enough. Unfortunately, that's the problem. Without City, we would be so clear. If City wasn't in the league, it would have been like 30 points clear. But this City is outrageously good. Very scary. Very scary. Like every time De Bruyne has the ball, I was like, oh shoot, we're in big trouble here. Like everyone is quality in that team. They have to have an off day, as I said, if you're going to beat them. Holding is full of bad luck. Saka would have been playing right back when Saliba got injured and Gabriel White in the center bring Trossard to play in front side of Saka. You can't just bring this Holding who have been on bench for all the whole season, says Tanslers. That was the biggest game since 2006, and the players felt it and crumbled. Yeah, you can tell. Yeah. Now the problem is that we've proved a couple of people right, like in terms of we'll not be able to handle the pressure. Today you could see like we could not handle the pressure at all. You could definitely see we were not on their level. Definitely not on their level today. The defending was, I'm not even sure I can call it championship defending. Yeah, some of it was bad. Gabriel Holding. Now we started, like Gabriel was great the whole season. Even Holding, if you're to rate him since he came on for Saliba, it would be like a 6 or 7 out of 10. It's not been like a 3 or 2. The problem is like since Saliba went out, we've been conceding 2 or 3 or 4 goals every single game. But I don't think it's just his fault. The likes of Pat in midfield have also turned off, and that is problem. That is a problem. This is heartbreaking, says Tactical. It's scary how good City are, says Raptor Reviews. RK says, how are you doing, Glenn? Well, as Craig says, depressed. Yeah, depressed. I really wish we could have been playing like again on Friday, but now City are going to play against Fulham. We're going to have to watch them score 7 goals over the weekend and take charge of top of the table. Vincent says top 2, it's not bad for us, so let's learn to appreciate. For me, I've never said it's bad. For me, I'm happy you're back in the Champions League. And as I said, I'm never going to say sell this one and sell this one because we've not won the league. That was not our aim at the beginning of the season. But since we've been top like literally for 9 months straight, it was right there for us. Like, this is the closest we've been like in a while. And I needed to see more from the players. Like, you know what, we've not been in a title race for a long time. Let's do this. And if we had been top of the table and then we've like won every single game and then lose to Man City today and then Man City come back to top of the table, then we'd be like, you know what, City are better than us, that is fine. But the problem is the way we dropped points against Liverpool, Southampton and West Ham. That is the problem. I actually did not have a problem dropping points against Liverpool. They're very good at Anfield. But the other two, West Ham and Southampton, that's where the problem is. Those 2 games are the ones that are going to haunt us for a long time. Saka is a player that would have been subbed even at halftime. When was the last time Saka played good football, says Cyprian. This game is all about fathers and babies. Arsenal are still babies, says Subai. Yeah, it definitely looked like that today. But after City, Arsenal is the best team in the league after City. City was not there, so I wouldn't let the other position fans tell you anything. I feel for Kiwior, the lad deserves respect. I thought he was definitely going to play more games. Same with Jorginho. I'm surprised he did not play at all, unless when he came on and played against which team did he play against? He played a couple of Europa League games. Was it against? I've even forgotten which teams he played. Sporting away. Kiwior Sporting away was terrible. If Arteta watched that game and he was like, you know what, maybe Kiwior is not ready for this season. Maybe you have to wait until next season to get the better of him. Maybe that could be the reason. But in terms of him not playing ahead of Holding, I don't know, because Holding will not be here next season and Kiwior will probably be here. So that is a tough one to know why he did that. I'm an Arsenal fan, but if Arsenal win the league, it will be an insult to Premier League. How can a team that have been have the worst wing back cannot run in the league? Wait. Let me read that again. I'm an Arsenal fan, but if Arsenal win the league, it will be an insult to the Premier League. How can a team that have the worst wing back? Now, that is overreacting. If you're talking about Zinchenko and White, they're not the worst wing back. If you're going to make a team of the season, White would probably be the second best right back. And if you're going to make a team of the season, Zinchenko is still, if you're putting all performances together, Zinchenko is still like the second best left back in the league. So there's that. You can also look at 1 or 2 games. But if you decide to look at 35 games, Zinchenko has been the best left back in the league. Not the last 4 games, but before that, definitely. But Arsenal winning the league would not be an insult to the Premier League. Tottenham winning the league would be an insult to the Premier League. Central defensive midfielder, central midfielder, centre back, and full back needed. Centre back, definitely. Central midfielder, definitely. Rice, we need Rice for sure. That's Sociedad centre back. We are linked to and a full back who can play both and cover for injuries. We'll talk about that at the end of the season, Cookie. Let's finish the season and see how it goes. Let's finish the season and how it goes. But if Arsenal win the league from here, it's going to be a miracle. Like we're going to have to hope City drop a lot of points. If we win all 5 of our games, that takes us to 90 points. City still have 21 points to play for. They're on 73. If they win all their games, that will take them to 94. They'll win the league by 4 points. Draw somewhere, they'll still win the league by 92 points. Draw somewhere, they'll still win the league on goal difference. So it will need a miracle. We need them to lose and draw and win all of our games. That is going to be a miracle, man. That's going to be miracle. I just think season over, don't write us off. I don't think you can win it, but we still need to win all our 5 games. We cannot just end the season on a losing streak. No, we can't afford to do that. End the season on a high, try and get to that 90-point mark, and then you'll be like, you know what, we got to 90 points. All we needed was to win a couple of more games. Let's try and do that next season. But you don't want to end you don't want to end the season like the last 10 games you win only 2. You don't want to end the season like that. You have to end the season on a positive note and then build that up from the transfer market into next season. But don't overreact. I know some people. I've seen someone saying on Twitter sometimes whenever we lose games, I never get on Twitter or Facebook or TikTok or whatever because I know the negativity that is going to be there. I just avoid it because I know what people are going to be saying. Because I've read a comment today saying, why are Arsenal, this is from an Arsenal fan, why are Arsenal fans always overrating Saka? He's not good enough. He's not good enough. We've had way better players than him, and he used the S word. And he used the S word against Saka. I have to worry about you. I definitely have to worry about you. You cannot say Saka is ish. You cannot say that. Like, because he was marked out of the game by Man City. Second best left back, I don't see anyone better. So there's that, because there's, again, even in this comment section, there's someone who has said Arsenal cannot win the league because we have the worst left back in the world. Definitely not. Zinchenko has played, if you put in all the 35 games or 33 games that we've played, Zinchenko has been great for 27 of them. Liverpool cost us a goal. Aston Villa cost us a goal. I remember. Today, not good as well. And also, West Ham, he didn't play. There's one other game there that he wasn't good enough. But in terms of overall, you have to be very careful in terms of overreacting. You cannot start saying we bring Pepe back and sell Saka. You cannot start saying that. But let's do the player ratings. It's not going to be a good one. Let's do the player ratings. Let's quickly do the player ratings. Aaron Ramsdale, we considered 4 goals. So I'm going to reduce that by a couple of marks. But first one, who scored the first goal? De Bruyne. I felt like he could have done better that one. Second goal, Stones. I don't think he could have done anything. Third goal, De Bruyne. I don't think could have done anything. I think holding or standing in the way. Fourth goal, maybe could have done better. But in terms of saves, Haaland could have had 6 goals today if it wasn't for Ramsdale. You considered 4 goals, so I'm going to give you a 7. I'm going to give Aaron Ramsdale a 7 because I still think without him, we could have been in a lot of trouble. Like I always imagine, like today, if we had like Manone or the old Fabianski or the old Szczesny or Almunia, we could have been losing these games by 9. Rangel is going to get a 7 for today, but I guess that is where like all the positivity ends in terms of ratings. Gabriel. Oh my goodness. Gabriel. The first goal, first of all, letting De Bruyne cut into his right foot, that is suicidal. You cannot send De Bruyne to his right foot. He's going to score. His left foot is dangerous enough. You cannot send him to his right foot. He's definitely going to score. And in terms of mistake, like as I think it was Cookie said earlier, the defending, my goodness, the defending was atrocious from Gabriel. You know, when holding is there, you expect Gabriel to be the one arranging and talking to the players and everything. He was terrible today. He was really bad. And it's not just that. If you watch it in terms of communication as well, Gabriel is not good in terms of communication with holding. You have to know who to go to. Haaland, who's going to stay back. Sometimes both of them are pushing forward and we are leaving spaces in behind for De Bruyne. Like the communication there, you can tell Gabriel and Holding do not play together a lot, which is weird because I think last season they played a lot together. Last previous season, Gabriel, one of the worst performances I've seen. I am going to give him. Gabriel. He also got a couple of chances to score. Poor headers. But we have to say the truth. So I'm going to give Gabriel a 3 for today. Not good enough at all. Dominated. I hate the fact that people said Arsenal cannot win the league with Gabriel. I hate the fact that they could be proved right because I wanted them to be proved wrong because it's been so good for us this season. But there's always those moments of giving away the ball to Mitrovic, giving away the penalty to which team? West Ham a couple of weeks ago. There was a game against was it Leeds early in the season. He almost gave away a last-minute penalty. There's always those moments. So that is why Gabriel needs someone extra next to him who can talk to him. Gabriel gets a 3 for today. Rob Holding, perhaps like if he didn't have those positives from this game, I would have been giving him like a 2 or 3. But he scored a goal, very good finish. Maybe Holding is not a defender. Maybe we need to start playing as a number 9. Because that finish was a very, very good finish. Maybe we need to play him as a striker. Maybe Rob Holding starts as up front next to Martinelli and Trossard next game. He looked more comfortable up front. Defensively, though, men against boys, as some of you have said, that was men against boys. He could not do anything against Haaland. And that is very scary. Like, I knew that was going to happen because of what we saw when he played against him in the FA Cup. Same thing happened today. Just dominated the entire game. Poor communication with Gabriel as well. Aerial balls, we couldn't do anything. We conceded from a free kick, and that is also a worry. We were the best team in terms of defending corners and free kicks and scoring from them, but all of a sudden, in the last 2 months, you're conceding corners and free kicks every single game. But he scored a goal and he put in a couple of good blocks at the back. So just because he scored a goal, I'm going to add him an extra mark because it would have been 4-0. I'm going to give him a 5 just because he scored a goal. If he didn't score a goal, it could have been 3 or 4. But just because he scored a goal, I'm going to give him a 5. But in terms of marking Haaland, 0 out of 10. In terms of defending today, a couple of good blocks, but that was it. 5 out of 10. Ben White also put in a couple of good blocks. One of them was from De Bruyne when De Bruyne literally just ran through our midfield. Grealish didn't have to be at his best today, to be honest. He didn't do a lot, but he didn't have to do a lot today, to be honest. So we considered 4 goals, but White as well, I'm just going to give him a 5 today. He was definitely not our worst defender today. I think Gabriel and Holding were worse than him. So Ben White, I am going to give him a 5 out of 10. Personally, I don't agree with people who say he's terrible. I've seen people saying he's overrated. I don't agree with that. If you look at the overall season, he is a centre-back who's been playing for us as a right-back, and he's helped us a lot this season. That position is not easy. The most difficult position to play in football for me is the midfield, because you have to know what is around you. You have to know how to protect your defense. You have to know how to be the connection between the defense and the midfield and the attacking midfielder. You have to know when to run to the left side. You have to know when to run to the right side. That is the most important position in the team for me. Some people will say striker because you need to score goals to win games. Some people will say goalkeeper because if you keep a clean sheet, you're not going to lose. But the wing back position, the full back position, I think that is one of the most difficult because of who you're playing against. Because like in White's position, you're going to come up against Zaha, against Grealish, against players like that. Difficult wingers to play against. I think he's done well this season, so I'd still obviously keep him in the team next season for sure. That is one position. That is one play I don't have a problem with at all. Ben White gets a 5. Zinchenko did not see much. He put in one good cross in the first half, but that was it, honestly. Not good enough at all today. And we have to say the truth. As I said, I think is, as Cookie said, I think he's actually been the best fullback left back in the league this season. Right back, I think Trippier has been slightly better than Ben White, but in terms of overall the whole season, I think he's been great. But Zinchenko today, and that is why I needed Tierney or Kivior to play, because I knew if Zinchenko goes forward or he makes a mistake, we need someone behind him. And behind him, if you have Gabriel, who's already trying to help Holding with Haaland, then that just brings chaos. That is just chaotic defending, and there's no communication. And that is something we've not said about Arsenal this season. Usually it's us, men against the boys, every other team that we played this season. But today, it was men against boys, and we were the boys today, definitely. So Zinchenko, I'm going to give him a 3 as well. Thomas Partey, disappointing. We always cry for him to play such games, and today he's played, and no difference actually. To the point I was actually asking for Jorginho to come on. So Partey today, not good enough. The only time I saw Partey, as I said, is when he was fighting Grealish. Ball possession, he's been losing the ball a lot these days, and that is not Partey. That is not what we expect from Partey at all. And the problem is a bit of it. It isn't like he's a terrible player and he's been making mistakes and anything. The problem I have with him is that he's one of the players that I feel like he's gotten comfortable with us being top of the table, and that is a concern. I think actually if you look at the whole squad, the one player who's gotten comfortable with us being top of the table is probably Partey, because those flicks, trying to flick the ball around one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, like in Rice, all that's these simple mistakes, mostly giving away the ball, and a couple of other things that usually annoy me that we can't talk about a lot, like him shooting the ball in the last minute against Southampton, and you have other options and you're trying to get a 4th goal. That decision making from Partey has not been good enough recently, and that is a concern. Now that is where, as someone said earlier, you need extra bodies and extra options, because the situation where we've been the last 3 seasons, if you take it back 3 seasons, if Aubameyang doesn't play well, we cannot do anything because we didn't have anyone else. Martinelli was like 14 years old, and we didn't have anyone else to bring there if Aubameyang didn't play well. So we had to play him. Last season as well, if Saka and Smith Rowe didn't play well, we didn't really have anyone to bring there. This season is kind of the same. Like if Partey doesn't play well, what do you do? Like El Neni is injured, and there's no one else to put in there. You cannot play Jacques as a defensive midfielder, and you're going to have to play Jorginho in a very quick game by himself against De Bruyne, suicidal. So we don't have any other options. Now, if you have other options like Rice there, you can tell Pat, you know what, if you play poorly 2 games in a row, you're on the bench. We have Rice who can come on. You have whoever is going to be in the team. If Xhaka plays poorly, you're going to say Tielemans is on the bench, whatever. We are going to bring him on. But the problem is there's no one else to come on for Partey. Yes, you can say Jorginho, but to the point of even if he doesn't play well, we have to play him because what else do you do? Now, that is what we need to sort out for next season. We have to give everyone competition. Ben White has had competition this season from Tomiyasu. Zinchenko has had competition from Tierney. Ramsdale doesn't really have a lot of competition. Gabriel doesn't really have competition at all. Jesus, maybe in terms of Trossard now. Yeah, those are the only players who really have competition, the likes of Saka and Martinelli, because they know we have players like Trossard. But if you have players, 3 or 4 players like Trossard on the bench, then that is great. But I do feel like Trossard and Nelson deserve to start, by the way. Nelson has now come on like 4 games in a row and he's done very well. And Trossard, he always comes on. I think he even got an assist today. He's done well. So I usually say Saka has to play. I usually say Martinelli has to play. Martinelli still has to play, but if next game Trossard started in place of Saka, I would not complain about it. So Partey 4 for today. Poor again, not good enough. I don't even know how many balls he lost. Like, speaking of balls, I don't think we saw many. He won 7 out of 12 ground duels. He was dribbled past once. He committed 3 fouls. He made 1 key pass. How many times did he lose the ball? 6 times. But you know what I mean? He was not a disaster from the stats. If you just look at the stats, you'll think he was not a disaster. But from watching the game, there's a lot that they're not going to write in the stats, like positioning. How many times are you positioning yourself in a good position? Like on the right side, there's a time I think Grealish or someone passed him on the right side. He had gone to the right side too easy. And when Partey is being passed that easily, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. So I'm only going to give him a 4 for today. Granit Xhaka, very quiet. We need him to turn up for a game like this. This is the one player I wanted to come back next to Saliba for this game. A bit quiet, not even a bit, very quiet. The only time I saw him is when he was fighting someone. 5 out of 10 for Xhaka, very quiet today, unfortunately. And Odegaard. So this would have been my formation at the beginning of the game. I wanted Tierney, Zinchenko, Ben White. I wanted Holding, and also, who else am I forgetting? Zinchenko, Tierney, Gabriel, Holding, and Ben White as my back 5. I would have gone with the midfield 2 of Partey and Xhaka, and then I would have gone with Odegaard right in front of Partey and Xhaka, and then I would have gone with 2 forward players. So I wouldn't have started with Saka, Jesus, and Martinelli. Martinelli has to be there, so it would have been either between Saka and Jesus. Use the pace, get the ball, try and get the pace, try and create 1 or 2 opportunities and score them. Now, when you do that, you still have to have Odegaard on the pitch because he's the one who's going to pick out those passes. We didn't go with that formation, though. We went to the 4-3-3, and I think in terms of defensively, you can't really depend on him. In terms of attacking, you expect more from Odegaard. Yes, sometimes you're spreading the pass as well to Martinelli and Saka, but in terms of forward play, like what was he doing in the final third? Didn't get the ball a lot, but yeah, a bit quiet once again. And remember, so you get more scrutiny when you are the captain for sure. I'm going to give him a 5. Some of you would even say lower, but 5 for Odegaard. These are not the ratings we've been giving these players this season, by the way. Like Zinchenko, Odegaard, I've been giving them 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 this season. So the last 3 games, it's been something new for us because we're not used to this kind of performances the last 1 year, to be honest. Up front, Martinelli, they completely marked him out of the game. He put in 1 or 2 good crosses, but again, today you cannot give him more than that. You cannot give him more than a 5, honestly. 5 out of 10 for Martinelli. Saka, to be honest, I don't know. What do you think is the problem with Saka? Has he been... Some of you have said he's been found out. Some of you have said he's tired. Some of you have said he's run out of gas. Like, what is it? Because if Saka plays like Saka, you're going to have the left back is going to have a lot of trouble, like we've seen this season. Like against Man United, he gave Shaw a nightmare. That is the show. That is the kind of sack I want in the team. But the last couple of games, he's not been getting. I don't know. Is it like he's a bit scared to get on the ball and try and pass these players? I don't know. Since he missed the penalty, especially, it's kind of like he's a bit scared to get on the ball and do what Saka can do: dribble past players and create chances. The moment he does it, like you saw against Southampton, the moment he does it, he can run past the play and cross the ball, and Martinelli can finish right away. It just takes 1 minute. But recently, not the best. So I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. And then Jesus. Oh my god, I only saw him like a couple of times, to be honest. I didn't see him a lot in that game. Like. I'm just going to give him a 4 out of 10 because I didn't see him at all in this game. Did he even get a chance to score? I don't even think so. 4 out of 10. Bench players will get more. Bench players will definitely get more. Trossard, I'm going to give him. Oh, Trossard was way better when he came on. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. He was very positive. He even got an assist, 6 out of 10. Probably one of our best players, and he was only on for like 30 minutes. Reece Nelson as well looked very threatening when he came on. 6 out of 10 for Nelson as well. I think at least one of them deserves to start next game. 6 out of 10 for him. Smith Rowe didn't get the ball too much. 5 out of 10 for Smith Rowe. Jorginho, 5 out of 10 as well. Nothing much. Did anyone else come on? Nketiah was only on for like 10 minutes as well. I'm also going to give him a 6. I feel like him and Nelson kind of brought something into the game. So I'm also going to give Eddie Nketiah a 6 out of 10. But I would not start with the same team next game. I'd definitely start Trossard. For who? I don't know. Either Saka or Jesus, one of them. Or if you want for Xhaka, go attacking, whatever. Chelsea is not Man City. We are going to have more of the ball. You're going to create chances against Chelsea. But you have to be careful. You don't want to go to Chelsea and then draw or lose again. We don't want that. You want to finish the season on a high. You don't want to give this City the title. If you're not going to win the title, at least give City a tough time until the final game of the season. Don't let them win the title with 2 games to go. Don't do that. Mikel Arteta, outclassed. Let's just say that. Totally outclassed. Like, if you're going to bring someone from Mars today, someone who had never watched football at all, and you're going to ask them, you know what, this is Arteta and this is Guardiola. Both of them are friends. Who, after watching the game, who do you think is even if the result was 0-0, if you're to ask someone like, who do you think is the mentor and who do you think is a student, they'll probably say Arteta is the student. You can tell. And Arteta's been very good against every other manager. We've been able to dominate the likes of Tottenham. Even against Man United, I think we've dominated them twice. They beat us once, but I think we did well against them in both games. We've been able to do that. But in terms of Man City, like, it just seems like we can't beat Man City. Like, for some reason, like you can just say, you know what, let's try and actually, like a team like Brighton and Brentford have better chances of beating Man City than us. I don't know why, but we just, maybe because those other teams go and park the bus and try and get a counter attack, and we try and go playing toe-to-toe against them. But that's the problem. So I'm going to give him a 3. For me, I didn't like the lineup. I would have gone for either back 5 or an extra midfielder. I don't think you can go toe-to-toe with them. Number 2, halftime, it was obvious that second goal was a killer because they wanted us to go 1-0 at halftime and try and change something, try and come back to the second half. Even if the game ends 2-1, at least it's a bit more respectable. But the moment they scored a second one, and it was blindly obvious that they are going to create more chances and they're going to score more goals. It was so obvious because De Bruyne was enjoying himself in midfield. He didn't make the changes after that. Either could have brought in Tierney or Jorginho, someone in midfield, or even Trossard up front, something. He didn't make those changes. And until he considered the third goal, that is when he made changes. So that is a concern. And in terms of just being tactically and everything, he was absolutely dominated today. So I'm going to give him a 3. I think that is the lowest I've given him this season. So yeah, a lot of errors and a lot of domination from Man City, basically. Man of the match, Aaron Ramsdale, probably. Aaron Ramsdale is going to be our man of the match, but in terms of overall the game, way clearly De Bruyne, he was way better than everyone else in our team. Ramsdale is going to be our man of the match again, just like he was against Liverpool. So thankfully we have Ramsdale. Some people are still saying Ramsdale is not good enough, he should be sold. He just needs to work on his penalties. If he can work on saving penalties, I don't have any problem with him at all. He's probably one of our best players. If Ramsdale was not there, we could have had a way worse goal difference. Jesus too, says Ake. Nketiah 5, Jorginho 5, Emil 5. Yeah, I didn't even see him. To be honest, when the third goal went in, I was just like, you know what? You start thinking. I wasn't even really watching the game until we scored. I was like, you know what? Can we do something and get a 3-2 or something? Trossard 6, I agree with that. Jesus 1. Yeah, he was not good. He was not great at all. Yeah, I've given him, what did I give him, a 4 or something? So I'll need to rewatch the game. I don't think I'll rewatch the game though. Xhaka 5, Xhaka 3, Invisible says Cookie. Don't blame anybody. They are all poor performance. I agree with that. I agree. There's like 8 or 9 players who are poor, and it's like 2-3 games in a row. So I definitely agree with that. Poor performance today. Man City are very good. You have to play really well to beat them. Today they are very good, and you didn't play well. So when that happens, that is where it becomes 4 or 5 goals. Ramsdale 8 maybe outrageous, but I think he says top 5, 1-6, 1-7, and never kind of embarrassment. He's been very good this season as well. If you're going to put a list of best Arsenal players right now, this season, I'd probably have Martinelli in the top 3. Ramsdale would be in the top 3. The third one would be difficult because until the last 3 games, I thought Odegaard has been very good for us this season in terms of every other games. He's been scoring goals, he's been assisting, all that, especially away from home. He's been great. But the last 3-4 games when he needed him most, he's been a bit quiet. So we'll talk about that at the end of the season. Maybe our opinions will change. Let's see what they do in the next 5 games. Arsenal problem is that we don't have fighting spirit and our defense will lack experience. The second one, I agree with. The first one, I don't know. Today, definitely no fighting spirit, but the whole season in general, if we say the truth, Dembele, we've shown fighting spirit coming from goals down, scoring last minute goals. We've done that. And I think we've scored the most goals after the 85th minute this season. We usually show spirit, but maybe we show spirit too late. That is what I can say. The last couple of games, Southampton and today, we showed spirit a bit too late. Man of the match, De Bruyne, but Ramsdale our best player, 100% for sure. Now, our next 5 games, do we have the table? I should even bring up the table. Let's not do it. No, Arsenal is on 75 points. They're on 73 points. Our next game is Chelsea, and that is up against on Tuesday. So Man City are playing on Sunday. They are going to probably win, and they're going to be ahead of us for the first time again in a couple of months. And then you just have to win all your games and then start hoping. We have to start hoping that something happens somewhere. It's going to be difficult, man. It's going to be difficult because I really, you know what, I really wanted these players to win the league. I wanted them to win something because I feel like they've done so well this season. So it would be a blow to finish the season without a trophy. It would be a huge blow. I don't know where they're going to get the spirit to come back next season. It's very hard that you have to try and do it. 3 free points against Chelsea. It does look that way, but if we had beaten Southampton and West Ham and maybe lost 2-1 today, Chelsea would have been looking at that game very scared, like, oh my goodness, we are playing Arsenal, because they are very shocking right now. But the problem is now that we've not won in 4 games, even them, they'll come to our place a bit confident that they can get something against us. So that is a problem. Every team will turn up now. And I remember a couple of weeks ago when you were talking about Newcastle, I think Cookie and Tactical asked me, are you sure you're not scared of Newcastle? I said we're going to beat them, but now Newcastle is very dangerous. You know, Newcastle is very dangerous. You have to go there as well and have a game of your life as well. You're going to have to do great things to win it. I'm still confident we're not going to lose again. I feel like today is the last loss we've gotten this season. But it's too much. We have to hope that City drop a lot of points. You're going to. Now the thing they don't want is for us to lose the league by 2 points, because I know people will look at that game against Brentford where the referee stole 2 points from us. I rather them would beat us by 3 or 4 points. But I really want us to get to the 90 points. 90 points. We've never gotten there in a long while, to be honest. So. Not the best result today. Not the best result. The worst result today. Not the best 4 games in a row. Let's hope we can bounce back from this. Hopefully, we can bounce back from this against Chelsea. I don't know how possible it is, but let's hope something can happen, and let's hope City can drop points. City are going to play Everton away. You know what? To live with positivity, Everton away. City are going to go to Everton away. They drew the first game. City are going to go to Brentford away. Brentford beat Man City in the first game. Man City are going to go to Fulham. Man City scored a last-minute penalty against Fulham to beat them earlier in the season, if that helps. But really, my only hope is Brighton and Brentford. The other teams, I can't see anything, to be honest. I feel like they're going to win all the other games. Chelsea, can they be good for once? Can they go to Man City and get something? Usually now, Chelsea will not lose by 4 goals or something against City. For some reason, they never lose by that many goals against them. But somewhere, can they get a draw somewhere? Hopefully. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough between now and the end of the season. We're going to do a lot of hoping and a lot of praying. We're going to have to do a lot of that. We have to turn up. We have to turn up for the next game. I went to Newcastle. I can see a 0-0. That wouldn't be great. We have to win all our games now. We have to win all our games. Hopefully we can. But today, to be honest, we were absolutely dominated by these guys. De Bruyne and Haaland just way better than us. And then Haaland actually scored. I think he had his headband or something, hairband in his hand, and he had his hair flipping around, and he scored against us. That is the worst moment of the season for us, to be honest. So let's hope things work out for us. Maybe enjoy the next few days because we're still top of the table. We might not be there for more than a week, but let's enjoy being top of the table for now. And let's hope things can go our way. You still have to be, there's still a 10% chance, but only 10%. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow.